Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look at the top 3 coins here, basically outside of Bitcoin and Tether. So Ethereum, BNB, and XRP are the topics of conversation for us here today. So what we're going to do is take a quick look at the larger time frames for each one of them, work our way down, make sure we understand generally what direction they're going to head. So if you like this format, feel free to let me know. Comment below, of course. I figure when coins are either retracing, we can look at dollar cost average targets, or just more importantly, kind of cover multiple coins in one video instead of jumping around, creating a completely different video for each one, right? So let me know if you like this format and be happy to continue this moving forward. And as per usual, if you have any feedback, constructive or otherwise, comment below, reach out to me through Twitter. Great to hear from you. Yes, it is Monday again. Happy Monday once more. And obviously help us grow the community there. But if you do want to become a better trader, cryptocash.tech is a website. Link down below. Looks a little something like this here, and we got some really cool opportunities here. Okay, so be sure to check that out. But what we're going to do here is focus on Ethereum first, right? And what we want to look at is a few key factors. So looking at the daily, we want to kind of look at the big picture and see that with the RSI, we're kind of stuck right in this middle ground. The same narrative for a lot of coins right now, because Bitcoin's also doing the same thing. Not quite sure if it wants to be above or below. Key takeaway here is we're below 50. But we have money flow index increasing. That could imply that we could see the price break upwards, but generally speaking here, this is more of a bearish type of sentiment, okay? Furthermore, MACD is also diverging too, so nothing special there. We take a look at the moving average, we can also see we're just barely above the 50-day SMA. Bitcoin tentatively right now is below the 50-day SMA, so we got to keep in mind that with Bitcoin being below that, the probability of the price action going lower is higher for this coin because it does effectively mimic that in a lot of ways, right? Not all coins are like that, but Ethereum is definitely aligning itself with Bitcoin fairly well, and also kind of 2x of that, right? A small correction from Bitcoin is a large correction from Ethereum, so be very careful trading this coin. Taking a look at the 4-hour time frame, let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Kind of all over the place, right? We had some range-bound activity from Bitcoin over the weekend, roughly the same thing for Ethereum. So not much to note here, the moving averages, but we are below all three. Not a great sign. We're below 50 on the RSI as well. And then, or furthermore, the MACD is also diverging. Okay, so again, overall sentiment here is bearish. There's really nothing much else to say. 4-hour time frame is telling us we're likely to see more downside. Hourly is also reflecting similar behavior here, where we can see the price action kind of breaking down. TD sequential is just starting, so we could see literally another 5 to 6 hours continuation of the downside. The takeaway here is that we are fairly still range bound, so nothing to really read into dramatically, but if we do lose this support level here at about 1845, there's a good chance we'll see much further downside. So in truth, Ethereum doesn't look fantastic, but I could say the same exact thing for Bitcoin too. If you take a look here, the probability of Bitcoin coming down a little bit further seems more likely based on the macro being bearish and the micro kind of going sideways, right? So again, just something to think about. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick look here next at BNB. I get a lot of requests for this one, so I'm glad we're going to jump on in and see what's going on. Let's tighten up our Fibonacci retracement levels and kind of see what's going here. Now, good news is about BNB, it's recovered a lot nicer than Ethereum has in the last 5 days. So we can kind of see this nice ascending type of trend. We can see the price action breaking through this resistance level at 242, or 241 rather if you round down a little bit. So in essence, BNB isn't in terrible shape, but it is kind of similar in a sense where we're still testing that 50 on the RSI. Money flow index is increasing, so we're seeing a lot more volume coming into BNB than other altcoins right now, so it's a positive sign. And we can also recognize that we're MACD converging instead of diverging, right? So again, mostly bullish signs here, but you got to understand here and take this away. We have a pretty strong resistance at 0.382 Fibonacci at 245. So the price action coming up here to retest that level, there is a potential of either a rejection to come down or to break through and use that as a support to increase from there, okay? So again, a lot of interesting different scenarios here, but we got a lot of liquidity up at the 258 to 260 range, and of course, a lot at the 231 range too. So again, a lot of buy side and sell side liquidity there. So overall, looking pretty decent here for BNB in the macro, much better than, again, most other altcoins. We do see a slight correction in the last 4 hours from Bitcoin retracing. That's standard stuff here, but the bottom line is that we are above a key level resistance, and that's important. Looking at the 4-hour, this is where things are a lot better for BNB. We can see the price action being above 50 on the RSI. It's really helpful there, kind of letting us know that we are still tentatively bullish. I like to emphasize the word tentatively because if we break below this 236 level, 0.236 at 241, then there's a strong chance we're going to break bearish. But at this point here, we are still doing okay. The thing I don't love is that we have a MACD divergence on the horizon. So if the price doesn't recover soon and Bitcoin doesn't successfully remove its head from its ass, we're going to see the price action continue lower here for BNB. Okay, again, it doesn't respond terribly to Bitcoin's corrections right now, but it's also more so a one-for-one in a lot of ways, and it does look like it wants to break down if we lose that support level. So be mindful. We lose 241 today, a decent chance we'll see further downside. When we look at the hourly, this is where things are actually a little bit better for BNB. We can see on TD sequential that we don't really have a true sequence here. We're mostly hitting 4s, 5s, and 6s and then getting resets, so not a lot of strong momentous indications there, but we can see on Ichimoku we are above the cloud for the moment. Conversion line's above the baseline, but I do not like that the lagging span is intersected with the price action here. Basically tells us if you have a long position open, you should have taken some profits by now because it could reverse. So that's kind of a little forewarning, if you will, that the price action could pull back in the near future for BNB based on that sentiment. So the overall sense here is that the smaller time frames look kind of bearish, whereas the larger time frames look bullish. So to me, I'd much rather move on a macro than I would the micro, just based on the simple fact that I like to gravitate a little bit more towards swing trades, holding those for a little bit longer periods. So again, whatever type of trader you are, you let that be your guide. But the interesting thing about BNB is it's almost opposite of Bitcoin, where the macro looks good, Bitcoin's macro looks bad. The short-term macro for Bitcoin, the micro for Bitcoin looks good, whereas the inverse here as well for BNB. You could almost say they're inversely paired, even though that's not exactly accurate. All right, let's take a look here at XRP and wrap this up here for us. So taking a look at XRP, what we want to do is look at the daily first, kind of work our way down, and just acknowledge that we are still in the overextended side. There's a lot of volume here in this range that still needs to be acquired. So to me, it would make sense for us to see a pullback somewhere in the 0.58 to 0.6 range, basically 58 to 60 cents range as a possibility. Is it a probability? No, not just yet. There's a lot of volume that was introduced to this coin based on the wonderful SEC actions there. If you're not familiar with that, obviously follow us on Twitter. There's tons of information over here regarding that. But the bottom line here is that we keep retesting this lower area here. And we're having difficulty breaking above 71.6 cents. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days in a row couldn't break through that level. Now you could argue that Bitcoin is having difficulty breaking through the 29.5 range as well. Very, very similar. And that's true. And the important reason why I bring that up is because there's a lot of synonymous behavior between XRP and Bitcoin. Okay, so let's go ahead and just kind of take a quick peek. You take a look at Bitcoin. We see a very similar pattern from Bitcoin to XRP. Okay, so again, important to recognize the correlation there because they're almost one for one right now. You could probably argue that, oh my goodness, no, the chart looks way different. You've got this large candle wake up. Of course, this was an anomaly, but within about a week or so, it averaged itself out to be synonymous with Bitcoin. So you could disseminate that if Bitcoin moves, XRP will as well. And once Bitcoin breaks that 29.6 resistance level, then we'll see probably a breakthrough 71.6 on XRP. Maybe even sooner because obviously Bitcoin doesn't need to move that much for this one to recover. So what does that all mean? Well, let's take a look at the daily and kind of see where we're at. We are still bullish here in the overall sense of things, right? So even though we're retesting those lower levels, we still have some room here for growth on the RSI. And stochastic is getting kind of lower, right? And that could tell us that we might see a shift in momentum. Now, keep in mind, anytime stochastic swings down like this, it's not the first time that it happens to recover. It's usually the second time you see that convergence. So I'm not super excited about the fact that that's coming down lower. It doesn't tell us much. It does tell us that we are still diverging on the MACD here, and that's more of an indicator of the momentum that we're seeing right now. Anyway, the strong push up, it would make sense for the price to keep coming down until we hit that bouncing point. And oftentimes the previous high, which is this level right here, is going to be the new low. So to me, a long at 59, 58 cents would seem probable or more enticing than to take a long right now. Again, I could be wrong. The price could bounce and recover from here. I hope it does. But if it doesn't, you just need to recognize that there's a pretty massive gap there that needs to be filled. You can kind of see here, fair value gap. Now, keep in mind, fair value gaps, they don't always fill all the way, right? So if the price comes down here, once again, the halfway point would make tons of sense. So to me, I'm just going to go ahead and set an alert here and probably set up a spot order as well for XRP at the 60 cent range, because I feel like if we see the price come down to that low, it'll likely bounce and recover quite quickly. Okay, so I don't think we're going to spend much time there, if at all, but just note that is a potential reality. Okay, so looking at the 4 hour, keep in mind too, if Bitcoin does retrace to like the 28,000 range, low 28s, we'll probably see that price point for XRP. If that doesn't occur for Bitcoin, then we'll probably see XRP recover. Okay, so again, that 1-to-1 ratio is fairly simple right now, or straightforward. Looking at the 4 hour, let's wrap this up here. We can kind of see we are below 50 on the RSI. That's typically a bearish sign. You can also see the MACD is diverging. It's not strong, but it is diverging nonetheless. So there's a good chance we're going to continue to see lower lows and lower highs. So I'd wait to either buy the dip there at about 67 cents if that's an area of interest for you, or potentially continue to buy it at a lower point. Again, Bitcoin retests the low 29,000 range. We'll probably see a candle wick to that level. Just to kind of reiterate, that is a previous support level based on the most recent low. And right around 67 cents is effectively that area. So all in all, that's kind of where we're at there. One thing I skipped over earlier too is the moving averages. They're a little funky because we had such a large increase, but the 50-day SMA is right there at about 58 cents, and we've lost the 20. So we're breaking bearish in the overall sense of things here for XRP. While it's not massive, it is still something to note. Last but not least, the hourly, we can see we're probably broken below the cloud here on the Ichimoku. And the bottom line is we're fairly range bound, so this isn't truly definitive, but it does imply that we're probably going to see a little bit more bearish sentiment because we're stuck under that 71.6 range, which is that Fibonacci level that we've had a lot of difficulty with. So the truth is here, XRP is fairly bearish on the price action. I think we're more likely to see downside than upside, unless we see a massive swing from Bitcoin soon. Again, a lot of this hinges on Bitcoin. Big surprise, it's kind of the standard thing. But it seems like XRP is a lot more reliant on Bitcoin's behavior right now, and so is Ethereum, whereas BNB is kind of macro bullish, and these other two are macro bearish concurrent with Bitcoin. So hopefully that made sense for you and described that correctly. I forgot to mention too, if you want to become a better trader, of course, join us on cryptocash.tech, but today is the last day to register for this BingX exclusive event. So be sure to check that out. Really, if you have KYC requirements for, Bybit, BitGet, or KuCoin, which are all required in the US and Canada, this is a good pivot there because there's no KYC or VPN required. They're a phenomenal exchange. I like them a lot. Thank you again so much, BingX, for bringing us available opportunity to our community. Really appreciate it. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. We'll go ahead and keep these things rolling if you like. Again, comment below. Let me know if you feel it's beneficial to have multiple analysis in one video, just so you can kind of cover all of them. I'm going to plan to do top 5, top 10, and top 50 coins that are highly requested in this pretty much every single day if possible. Okay? Again, check it out. Let me know your thoughts. Thanks again so much for joining me here. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon.